Good evening, everyone. This is Duran over at Alpha 7 Trading Academy, here with another trade concept. I felt like today that I wanted to go over some basic, simple chart patterns that could definitely be beneficial for you. Now, with Alpha 7, we don't advise you to only trade on these chart patterns alone, but to add these and use these as a complement to the setups that we teach you, make it all the more of a difference in terms of probability. So the more things that you could tack on to your setup, the greater the probability it's going to work. So one of the first things are simple chart patterns, and I think are very useful and easy to use, are symmetrical triangles, ascending or descending triangles, cup and handles, inverted cup and handles, doesn't matter, head and shoulders, plain and simple trend channels can mean a lot on longer time frames, which I'll give you an example of. And I think that's about what I'm going to go over, and maybe a bull flag, which is normally attached to a cup and handle, which is the handle basically. So the first thing we want to go over is we'll go over the hourly, okay? So let me just make sure we got the hourly up and running. Now, let's go over a head and shoulders. Now, there's one head and shoulders here, which means that there are two low lumps and one high lump. Now, the problem with this one is that pretty much one of the shoulders is higher than the head, which is normally what you don't want. So what happens is it turns into something of an ascending triangle. Now, an ascending triangle involves a support resistance line and a trend line. So one would be here, where we have the resistance line, okay? And then we have the trend line, okay? And as you can see, this is also how you would line up a head and shoulders. Okay, so I wanted to give an example. Now, since this is an ascending triangle, you could say the same thing for a descending triangle, but it will deal with a support line and a trend line going down, okay, which is a descending. So descending means the trend line is going down, ascending means the trend line is going up. That's the easiest way to recognize it. The next one that I want to go over, which is pretty difficult to find, so you have to train yourself, is an inverted cup and handle. So we have one here, okay? That is the cusp, all right, and here is the handle. All right, I hope you guys could see that. Maybe I could zoom in a little bit. All right, so as you can see, it gets rounded, flattens, creates a bear flag, okay, and then it continues to go down. Right, so that's an inverted cup and handle. And you could also find, let's see what else we could find here. We have a symmetrical triangle right here. So if I were to extend it. All right. So symmetrical triangle basically speaks for itself. You want to really have that symmetrical feeling for the triangle. So that way when they basically intersect each other and they're pretty much even. So this one's pretty much even. And as we could see, it broke out right through the symmetrical triangle. And we also have another one here. All right, now that's the hourly. Now we could also do this on even a wider time frame, and the wider you get, obviously the price range is going to be bigger and take longer to get there. So even though it may take long, just mark them on a piece of paper so you don't have to always go ahead and look at the chart, and mark them because those are going to be very, very important support, resistance, reaction zones, reaction levels. We call them bumpers in Alpha 7. So let's go to the weekly for a sec and show you a nice trend channel. So here you could see that we have, and there's two ways to do this with Thinkorswim. You could either use the drawing of a trend line, or you could use the channel. So let's just use the channel, since you've already seen me use the trend line. So there we go, and then all I have to do is push it below. And there we go. Alright, so we have a trend channel here, and this is very good. Even though it's the weekly, at least we get to know the ranges, and we know that the long-term weekly trend is upwards. So we're pretty close to the support level zone, and if you want to make sure it's extended to save it on the chart, just right-click on it and extend to the right. Okay, so here's a basic trend channel. You want to make sure that they're mostly parallel for the most part, and you could use them on wider time frames, shorter time frames, but most of the time you want to use chart patterns for wider time frames, such as the daily, the hourly, and the 15. So let's take a look at even a 5. Let's see if we could find anything on a 5. That's why we use the 15 most of the time. So let's use the 15. The 15 is usually the lowest you want to use in order to really hold a value of the price. So here's a beautiful cup and handle. You guys see that? Let me make it more obvious, because this one's a good one to note. The properties. All right, so that's the top, and there goes the breakout. And then you have, right after that, right before that, you have a symmetrical triangle as well. Give me a sec, sorry. Okay, into the next day. So symmetrical triangles, look for ones that intersect and look pretty much symmetrical. Cup and handle, look for that rounded bottom, okay, with the bull or bear flag. Okay, and then the breakout through the cusp. And then you also have the ascending, descending triangle, which I'll pull up right now. So you have an ascending triangle here, symmetrical triangle here, inverted cup and handle here. All right, so there's many ways you could find them. These are just a few basic chart patterns that you guys should begin to recognize. If you have any questions, shoot me a comment. I'll be more than happy to help you and assist you. And this is just the basics of it. What we do is we take this and a lot of other chart patterns, and we use them in addition to our setup. So for instance, we could say that we have a symmetrical triangle here, and then all of a sudden we have a mini pup forming right here, which you guys aren't aware of, but these are some setups that we do use, which are our main strategies. And what we want to do is increase and strengthen them by looking for chart patterns that could definitely increase our probability. And that's what we do. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, once again, shoot me a question through any place where you see this video. Have a good day and take care. Bye.